Everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queen and today we're going to be reading the storyline of The Witch's Daughter and the rules. Arabella's story began 16 years ago, before her birth in a different world. The day was July 23rd, 2004, and it was Arabella's mom's birthday. It started out as the best day for Sabby. She was turning 21. Finally, she thought, I can gain some independence. Sabby grew up in an overly strict household who didn't believe in silly things like birthdays. Her mother used to tell her, Sabby, when you turn a couple thousand years old, you stop caring about birthdays. This is a concept Sarabella never understood. There are only two things her mother hated in this world: humans and birthdays, although Sabby always felt like she should add herself to that list. Sabby had always wanted to go to the human realm, and her mom always told her the dangers of that world. Still, nothing could kill Sarabella's curiosity. After a typical brunch with her parents, she had plans to meet up with her friends. Once she arrived, they told her that they had a surprise and it would require her to be blindfolded. She agreed. When the blindfold was removed, Sabby was looking at a club. She felt a bit let down. Why would her friends need a blindfold her to bring her here? Then she realized it. She wasn't at home. She was in the mortal realm. Sabby and all of her friends were witches and warlocks who lived in a hidden neighborhood near Glimmerbrook. Sabby had always been interested in the mortal realm, so this is the best birthday present ever. They entered the club and danced the night away. It was that night that she met Jaden. He was the coolest guy ever. They danced and joked, becoming good friends faster than expected. Through the next week, Sabby researched everything she could to find her way back to the mortal realm, on top of her college coursework. 3 weeks later, she finally figured it out. She didn't want her friends to judge her for going back, so she never told them. For the next 2 weeks, she went to the mortal realm every day to see if she would run into Jaden. Sunday night, she decided that if he didn't show up, this would be the last night. She walked through the doors, and there he was, this mere human that made her question everything. 2 months later, on a drunken night, Sabby admitted to Jaden how she felt about him. She was thrilled to hear that he felt the same way. That night at the club was their first time having sex. From Jaden's perspective, Sabby was a wild child who behaved like she was having fun for the first time. He couldn't understand why he was so fascinated with her. There was something about her that was so sexy and mysterious. Something was very different about her. He couldn't quite put his finger on it. For him, it was love at first sight. Shortly after, Sabby felt quite ill. She thought it was from trying human food. Soon she had dropped out of college because she spent too much time in the human realm and fallen behind in studies. She went to her childhood doctor and was shocked when he said she was pregnant. Here she was, pregnant at 21. She felt alone and had no one to talk to. She couldn't let anyone from her world know, and she was too scared to tell her boyfriend. She thought about what witches her age were doing. They were in uni, learning about who they were. Meanwhile, she was not only pregnant, she was pregnant by a mortal. She was panic-stricken. Her baby would be half witch and half human. She never heard of anyone having both genetics. She took all of her courage and told her boyfriend, who was shocked but excited. They were having a baby. Sure, it wasn't planned or something that either of them wanted so early in life, but they were already deeply in love. He convinced her that they could do it. The next step required even more strength. How was she supposed to tell her magical parents that not only she was pregnant and unwed, she was pregnant and unwed with a half-human baby? After taking several deep breaths and telling herself she could do this, Sabby walked into her parents' mansion, a house she spent their childhood in, a house that never felt like home to her. That distinctive smell. Mother's definitely brewing something. As she walked in the door, her mother called her. Sabby? Yes, mother. How dare you? How dare you embarrass us? What are you talking about? She asked. I could smell it before you opened the door. How dare you dishonor our bloodline? How dare you walk in my home with a mortal baby inside of you? Sabby stared at her mother and stood up for herself for the first time ever. Half mortal, you mean? Ha 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 ha. Someone thinks they're brave. I will never accept that bastard child. It will never be one of us. The choice is clear, darling. Abort that ridiculous thing, or you will lose everything. If you keep this child, you will be just like it, a mere mortal. You will never see this world again. Are you willing to give up everything for that thing? Yes, said Sabby, and she started walking away. Yes, what? Don't you dare. Sabby? Sabby? Sarabella, I will strip you and that horrible child of yours from all powers. Sabby had just lost everything for her child. She returned to the mortal realm and continued her life as a pregnant witch. During her pregnancy, she wrote everything she knew and still remembered about who she was, including all of her spells. She never told her boyfriend, who actually married her shortly after. Unfortunately, Sabby died in childbirth. Sarabella, Sabby's daughter, grew up with her dad as a single father and always carried the guilt that her mother died because of her. She's amazed in her relationship with her father. All of her life, weird things have happened. Whenever she's sad, mad, or angry, things happen around her. Her dad believes she just has an active imagination. Unfortunately, within these last 2 months, she's felt more alone than ever. Her father met someone and fell in love. Her name is Amy. Arabella has never hated anyone in her life, but everything in her is sending alarm bells. She doesn't trust this lady at all, and the lady claims she's pregnant. Since her father's girlfriend is having a baby, Arabella was asked to give up her room for the baby and move to the attic. She did so reluctantly. While cleaning up the place and decorating, she tripped on a floorboard. While clutching her foot, she opened the floorboard. Inside there was an old book covered in dust. When she opened the book, it said, "For Arabella, from Mom." The next passage read, "Do not share this with anyone." Arabella wept uncontrollably. She had always wanted to know her mom. There's only so much she can learn from her dad. She then started reading and couldn't stop until she was tired. She hid the book and slept. The next morning at breakfast, her father and his girlfriend discussed redecorating and removing Sabby's pictures to make the house more comfortable for Amy. After her father agreed, Arabella asked if they could move everything to her room. Amy cut her off, saying they don't have the room, adding that her mother died 16 years ago and she's had her grieving time. Arabella lost it and snapped at Amy and her father. While crying, she ran upstairs, grabbed a book bag, stuffed it with a change of clothes and her mom's book, and she ran past her dad and out the doors. While leaving, she could hear Amy telling her father to not react because she's just being dramatic. Arabella ran to the bus stop and got out of there. This is where Arabella's journey starts. It's time for you, the reader, to discover her past and learn about who Arabella is. Tune in for this Teenage Runaway / Rag Sorceress challenge. If you are planning to play along with me, I do have a set of rules. Rules for the challenge. This is a gender-neutral challenge. Your sim can be whatever you like. Feel free to change the names. As you know, Arabella's mom left her book. In my Let's Play, Arabella will have coordinates and clues left from her mom within that book. Those coordinates will lead her to a chest. Each chest will contain something that she can learn about herself and an item that she can add to her book bag, and the coordinates to the next chest. If you so choose, you can add a storage area where her mom's items are. In the last chest, her mom has a couple of names and addresses along with a glimmerstone. After Arabella uses the glimmerstone for the first time, it breaks into pieces. So you have to break it. Arabella now has to find her mom's 3 best friends, which happen to be the 3 sages, and Arabella's grandparents. Feel free to name the grandparents whatever you like. You don't have to play this part out. It's completely up to you. The introduction. Start on an empty lot in any world with 0 simoleons. To do this, use the testing cheats true, then money 0. With your first 250, buy a phone. Without the phone, your sim cannot answer or play games on the phone. Rule number 3 is pay 100 simoleons for a weekly all-day bus pass. With this pass, you can go anywhere in that 1 week. It expires 7 days from the first use. The first bus pass is only $60 to get her started. One thing that I did not mention in the rules to be published is that in order for you to buy that bus pass, you have to have the phone first. So this is kind of step 1, step 2, step 3. So you can't buy the bus pass and start going all over the world until you have the phone. Okay? Rule number 4. Arabella is a teen, so she cannot talk to any adults. She can talk to other teens and children. Ikevelli has a mod for a magic school, which I'll be using once she finds the magic realm. Kawaii Stacy has an education bundle mod, which allows your Sims to go to school online. If you don't use mods, then Arabella is not to go back to high school until she has her own house. Rule number 5. You will spend most of your time in the beginning off the lot. When you do come home, you can only place items you can move, like a cooler. You cannot use grills, stoves, fridges, or anything that requires electricity. If you're at a park and someone cooks for you, you cannot take any food home. You can use grills at the park, you just can't place them on the lot. I didn't make that clear when I wrote the rules. You can use a tent to sleep. If you don't have tents, you can use park benches, but they cannot be placed on the lot. You don't want anyone thinking that you live there. One other point is if you have eco lifestyle, you can sleep in the dumpsters. I'm just giving options for sleeping. Rule number 7, complete the spellcaster aspiration. Rule number 8, complete 2 schools of magic. You can choose whichever form you like. Rule number 9, max out all perks, learn 24 spell, and reach level 10 in gardening. Once Arabella has maxed out her spellcasting skills and grown 10 perfect plants, she can resurrect her mom using De-Deathify. This can only be completed once everything else is done. The rules for her house. In order to build a house, you need to pay the city $2,000 for a permit. The house must have a bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, living room, and a hidden study area for all of her witch items. You can also add a greenhouse later if you want. Money. You can make money from painting, writing, cooking, fishing, hacking, photography, etc. No jobs. There are 3 options. You can sell your items from your inventory, use Popsy, or use the Come and Get It street store. With that first option, you can sell items however you like with your inventory. The second option is get a Come and Get It street store. With this option, you can't sell anything out of your inventory, but you can still use Popsy. This is a harder way. If your sim is a collector, they can buy a retail store later. Little Miss Sam has a live-in business mod if you want to use it. All of these mods mentioned will be listed below. Go to any public place to sell your paintings. Once she reaches level 5 of the painting skill, she can sell her paintings for 150%. Level 7, she can sell the paintings for $200. Level 9, she can sell the paintings for $250. Level 10, she can sell the paintings for $300. The reason why I put rules on this is so that she doesn't make too much money too fast. Home decor. Buy all of the decorations and furnishings at the flea market if you have city living. Once you get the items home, you can change them into whatever item you want. If you don't have city living, you can place a furniture store like IKEA and shop there. I will probably do a little bit of both. It just adds a little realism. You could change the items out because I am a CC user, so there's no way I'll be using max items, especially the flea market items. But that's just a way for you to add some realism. That's all. A special thank you to Sim Nation Magazine for allowing my storyline to be in their magazine. You can look forward to seeing that when the day that this storyline drops, which is October 15th. I will leave Sim Nation Magazine's Twitter down below. I will also leave all the mods listed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.